Tetairoa McMillan has officially arrived. Through the first few weeks of the season, he's looked every bit like a future star. He's been winning contested catches, moving the chains, and making it look pretty easy. The Panthers are scheming him open, Bryce is trusting him in the big moments, and Tet's proving that polish and physicality can beat pretty much anybody. Let's dive into the film and break down why Tet's breakout isn't just a fluke, and that it might be the beginning of something very, very special. So let's get right into it.
Hey.
All right, guys, before we get into this first play from Tet McMillan, let me give you guys a brief breakdown of him as a player if you guys aren't super familiar with his game. So at 6'4", 220 pounds, that's great size for the position. He's not the quickest guy off the lines. He's not the quickest guy in general, but you're going to see on this rep, he is just a super physical receiver that really just bullies corners all over the football field to gain separation. Has some really good YAC ability as well. And guys, the Panthers saw a ton of potential in him. That's why they picked him top 10 overall this year. He's the 8th overall pick by the Panthers. They needed a receiver since Xavier Legette has kind of looked like a bust so far throughout his NFL career. He was picked in the first round last year. They just needed more weapons for Bryce Young. And guys, throughout Tet McMillan's college career, he was phenomenal. I mean, look at his first 3 years of college production. As a true freshman, over 700 yards. As a sophomore, 1,400 yards and 10 touchdowns. And then in 2024, regressed just slightly, but still had a phenomenal season. 1,300 yards, 8 touchdowns. He had a monster game in week 1, I believe, as well. Had 300 yards receiving or something crazy like that. And it's because he can really bully people all over the football field. I mean, he's just a big, strong receiver. And you're going to see that on this rep right here. So Tet McMillan, he's just running an out route to the sticks. That's all he's doing. Nothing crazy. He doesn't look super fast here or anything like that. But you're going to see what he does to this corner on this rep. And then I'm going to show you a little bit of flair that Tet McMillan adds. At his size, like I said, he has amazing YAC ability. And you're going to see this. So they're going to hike the ball. He just pushes that corner off of him, comes back to the ball. He does that excellently. And then look at that. Puts the defender on his butt there, catches the ball, does some quick little twitchiness with the YAC ability to make the first defender miss. He's really good at that. And then boom, lays the wood, putting him on the ground. That's just a great rep. I mean, that's only a 12-yard catch, or a 10-yard catch rather. But it's just a great rep from Tet McMillan, just to where a lot of receivers probably don't get the first down there. Or if not, I mean, they're going to come back to the ball and then get tackled immediately. He gets an extra 4 or 5 yards after the catch. And that's one of the biggest strengths of Tet McMillan's game, is that YAC ability and his overall physicalness at the catch point and just all around the football field. You can't do a film breakdown on Tet McMillan without breaking down some of his route running chops. He's not the fastest guy, like I said, but somehow, some way, he just does these slight head fakes and these slight movements to where corners and safeties just bite on it every single time. And you're going to see him put this safety in a blender. And this is going to be a 19-yard touchdown for Tet McMillan. And honestly, the safety never has a chance once Tet McMillan gets him on this double move. So the route's fairly simple. He's just going to run like he's running a post, and as soon as this safety bites down on the post, boom, he cuts it outside, and it works tremendously. Like I said, he's not the fastest, but as soon as he starts doing the little head fakes and the double moves, it's like the defenders have to bite on it. I don't know what he is. I don't know if he's got a sixth sense or something, but I mean, he just cooks corners and safeties like this, and you're going to see it on this rep right here. So Bryce Young there in 5 wide. Tet McMillan's in the X position. You're going to see him run. Boop, boop. That's it. I mean, it's just over. It's just such a slight. It's just not even 2 steps. It's not even a 2-step double move here. Look, just 1, 2. Cut outside, 1, 2. And the corner, the safety in this situation's cooked. Yeah, you're trying to get the ball out, make it incomplete somehow, some way. But yeah, you got absolutely obliterated on this rep. I'm sorry. Tet McMillan, that is a great rep. And that's only some of the double moves that he'll utilize throughout the game. If he can't beat you with this physicality, if you're playing against zone coverage and he's not being able to be manned up so he can be physical with the corner, he can do really well against zone as well, just like this, just making this corner corner hate his life, and it ends up being a 19-yard touchdown and a great throw from Bryce Young. Before we get further into the video, if you're enjoying the content, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and don't forget to hit that bell so you don't miss any of my future videos. Also, if you want access to my full Dynasty rankings, you can check out the Google Doc link in the description below. It's completely free to view, and if you want to talk Dynasty all season long with the community, make sure to join the Bobby's Big Board Discord. The link is in the description. Alright, let's get right back to the video. Alright guys, on this next play, you actually have Andy Dalton throwing to Tet McMillan versus the Patriots, and this is a 22-yard gain on a very simple route concept. I mean, it's about as simple as you can get. It's just a slant route. But the way Tet McMillan separates because of what he does at the line of scrimmage is really important here. So you're going to see Tet McMillan fake like he's going like an outside release go, and it only takes 1 or 2 steps total to get this corner thinking it's an outside release go. So he gets those 2 steps just to make the corner think just enough, like, okay, he's running the outside release. Then he comes back inside, crosses the defender's face excellently. And you're going to see the magic that he works with after the catch. Tet McMillan is a big guy, 6'4", 220 pounds, and you know, he's not the easiest guy to bring down. But in this situation, he's just able to find as much space as possible. It's kind of like Breece Hall as a runner, where he's not the most explosive, but he always finds and gets the maximum amount of yardage because of the vision that he displays on each and every play. Tet McMillan kind of has that same sort of ability. So you're going to see here, Tet McMillan's at the top of your screen here, of course. You see the 1-2, crosses his face, gets the... That might be an in route, but I mean, it looked like a slant to me. And then you see... I mean, look. He catches the ball. Boom. And then he's got 3 people around him. Stops. I mean, it doesn't look pretty. But it just works. It's like he just gets a maximum amount of yards, always falls forward for extra yardage here. Gets 2 defenders to over pursue him. Cuts back on a dime pretty much. Boom. Cuts back and gets a 22-yard gain on what could have been just an 8-yard catch. You know? But he just makes all the defenders miss, fights through tackles, and gets a 22-yard gain. Just an expert release off the line, great separation, and then after the catch, he's just a menace. Just finding ways to get yardage, whether it is pretty or not. So great rep from Tet McMillan here. Before we get into this last play from Tet McMillan, I want to give you guys my notes that I gathered on him throughout my time watching all of his film, some of the pros and cons of him as a player. And there's not too many cons, guys, I'm going to be honest. I mean, I really loved what he put on film thus far this year. So the first thing that pops off the tape for me is the YAC ability. He's got really good YAC ability for his size at 6'4", 220. There's not too many guys his size that can really make people miss with elusiveness and just break through tackles and gain the maximum amount of yardage on any given play. I thought he might just kind of look like a T. Higgins type of receiver, you know, a possession guy, but he's proved me wrong there. I mean, he had great YAC ability at Arizona, but I was unsure of how well that would translate to the next level. And then next, he's got really great hands, consistent hands in traffic. That is a very reliable trait to have. I mean, you just throw the football up to him and he will come down with it 9 times out of 10. Really good stuff. He's had consistent hands all throughout college and throughout his tenure in the NFL thus far, so very important stuff. Understands NFL concepts, so he's really good against zone. He understands when he needs to sit down on routes. He knows where the open spots are in the zone. He knows when to not run his route full speed to let other routes develop. He's just got a really high football IQ, so that's very important as well. And the Panthers scheme him open. You know, they don't have a ton of weapons right now, right? Adam Thielen is not getting any younger. Xavier Legette doesn't look like he's panning out right now throughout his time in the NFL. Maybe he develops, but we're not sure. Tet McMillan's like the only guy that's really good after the catch right now that they have healthy. So Tet McMillan is going to be the #1 option on a lot of these plays because he's the most trustworthy weapon right now in this offense. And last but not least, for the pros, he uses size and strength to get open all the time. He kind of pushes off defenders just enough to where he doesn't get the PI call, but he's just a really strong force when he runs his routes, and corners have a really hard time catching up with him when he just kind of throws you off of him a little bit. And you'll see that in this rep specifically. Now, onto the cons. There's not many, like I said. He doesn't have the best quarterback situation. Bryce Young has been very hit or miss throughout this year and pretty much his entire NFL career thus far. We don't know if he's the long-term answer for the Panthers. So if you're looking at owning him in fantasy football formats like Dynasty, things like that, we don't know what his outlook looks like in terms of the quarterback position. We've seen guys like Garrett Wilson have really bad quarterback play, and that's really limited their ceiling. So definitely something to look out for there. And the last thing, the only really nitpick I have for Tet McMillan is he doesn't have the best speed. I think he's probably a low 4.5s runner. I know he ran like a 4.47 at his pro day, but I don't know how trustworthy that number is because it wasn't an official time. But I mean, he's fast enough to be effective, but he's not going to burn people deep like a Xavier Worthy or someone like that. Now, we've seen guys like Keenan Allen be super successful, and he ran like a 4.78 or something at the combine. So speed's not everything in the NFL. You just have to be really good at understanding route concepts and overall your ability to separate, whether it's through physicality or just cuts in your routes, right? So on this rep here, enough of me yapping, let's go ahead and get into this last play here. It's just a quick dig route. I mean, nothing crazy here, but it's somehow a 21-yard gain. Tet McMillan turns water into wine a lot of times. And you're going to see what he does to this poor corner who's manned up on him. He's just going to right at his route. When he cuts in on his route, you're going to see just the slightest little bit of physicality and just kind of push the corner down almost to where he gets a ton of separation here. So you'll see this. Boom, get off of me, catch it, and then look what he does after the catch. Get off of me, get off of me. Then finally it takes 3 Falcons to bring him down. So it's just really good stuff here. Just that slight little push off. Nothing that's going to get you a pass interference call or anything like that. It's just enough to where he's just physical enough to where he can get a ton of separation. Look at that. That's 2 yards of separation. Stiff arm, get off of me, fights through 1 tackle, and then eventually gets brought down by 3 Falcons. So overall, just great tape from Tet McMillan. I was very impressed with him. Tet McMillan's game just screams reliability, strong hands, very smart routes, and that quiet confidence that every quarterback loves. He's already producing like a veteran, and if he keeps this pace up, we're not talking about just a solid rookie season. He could be the next breakout wide receiver 1 for the Carolina Panthers.
Hey.